Rosemary's Baby is incredibly disturbing. This was one of the films that started to break down those barriers in horror and open up doors of getting under your skin, psychological, strange horror films. It still stands out to this day as one of the most arresting and unforgettable of its period. This video is requested by channel member John Eastwood. If you're interested in requesting what I review on the channel for a small amount each month, please consider clicking that join button below. So Rosemary's Baby tells the story of Rosemary, played by Mia Farrow, a newlywed to an actor played by John Cassavetes, and they move into a building in Manhattan and decide to have a baby, and they get on with the neighbours, and it starts off all fine and dandy, and then it gets more and more disturbing as Rosemary gets pregnant. This is one of the most subtle horror films ever made. There's just this gradual building of tension and atmosphere throughout. The film gets you comfortable with the characters. These are normal people, they're living a normal life, everything seems very nice, and they meet these neighbours who want to help them out, and they want to be there for Rosemary's pregnancy, and you start wondering, why are they being so friendly? But then you think, oh okay, this happens in life, people are friendly, neighbours, you can trust them. And then slowly but surely, it just gets more and more strange. It's a very good example of things allowed to slowly but surely get out of control, because you'd never imagine something like what happens in this film. It's a film about losing control, and it's a freaky feeling, because you think of, in life, you can trust people. You think that anyone who's going to help you in a building and be there for you, there's a sense of community. It's about realising you can't trust people, and something very, very sinister could be going on. You know, don't watch this film if you want to have faith in humanity, because it's so disturbing. But it's from a time where ideas of the occult, religion, and the world was changing so much. Nowadays we have so many films about one character who believes something's going on and no one around her trusts her. But back here it was kind of a new thing, and it's interesting to see that unfold from such a genuine place, this untapped area of isolation and loneliness and not understanding what's going on around you. The direction has a very slow, mesmerising, dreamlike feel to it, and it's just the small changes in the characters' daily lives, odd music cues, and the camera slightly jarring you out of nowhere. Very subtle direction, blink and you'll miss it, but it's all creating that strangeness underneath the surface, to the point where eventually you just sit there and you wake up to it and realise this is really weird what's going on. This is a really bizarre situation this character's in. And this oddness, this strangeness is what we were going to see in the 70s. You know, this is a late 60s horror which set the tone for what we were about to see. Experimental, strange horror about the horrors that could be out there within humanity, and that you could be alone, and that there was a lot of people in this world who will try and gain your trust and will actually be the complete opposite of what they make themselves out to be. Mia Farrow is very good as Rosemary. I mean, she starts off, I'll be honest, not great, because she starts off quite plain and quite a normal character, and it is just her having a regular normal life with her husband. But you gradually get more invested, and the performance improves as you start to sympathise with her genuine confusion. And I think she has some great moments where she keeps the performance, you know, not over the top, and she makes you believe she's a regular woman who's never seen anything like this before. I really start to respect the performance, because she starts to feel like you would feel in this situation. It's very relatable, her reaction. Gets a lot of nervous energy, and just not quite understanding or believing this could be happening, questioning herself, questioning what's around her, and she gets jittery and she gets anxiety, and I think it's a very good human performance.
Please let me talk to you. Let me come and explain what's been going on. I can't stay too long here. They'll be coming looking for me. Dr. Hill? Dr. Hill, there's a plot. I know that sounds crazy. You're probably thinking, my God, this poor girl is really flipped. But I haven't flipped, Dr. Hill. I swear, by all the saints, I haven't. There are plots against people, aren't there?
The paranoia gradually rises up, and you're sat there thinking, why is all this happening? This is a beautiful time in a woman's life as Rosemary gets pregnant. And that's another theme of the film. the fears and anxieties that can arise during pregnancy, and the idea of losing control over one's own body. That's really disturbing. That is one of the most creepy things about this film. The physicality of the transformation of Rosemary as the pregnancy is not going normally. She's getting thinner, getting white as chalk, she looks different. What a terrifying thing, that having a baby, one of the best things you can do, and you know, an incredibly liberating thing, and you're about to have a child who you can look after for the rest of your life. The idea of that being a horrible, terrifying experience that you don't understand, that's changing you, that's deteriorating you, is one of the most horrifying ideas ever, really.
Don't you think you ought to check with Dr. Saperstein first?
What for? I'm just giving a party. I'm not going to swim the English Channel.
What about the pain?
Oh, haven't you heard? It'll go away in a day or two.
And the fact that there are people involved with making this woman's pregnancy hell and trying to tell her that it's all for her own good and tricking her into it, that is just genuinely freaky, horrible stuff. And again, it was the beginning of that idea of the horror of humanity, what humans were willing to do to each other. And there is obviously the idea of the God is dead movement. We see that referenced several times in Rosemary's Baby, the world changing, people moving away from the safety of religion, and the idea of an occult rising up behind the scenes and being genuinely Satanists. We get the impression that the safety net, the idea of the church being there for people, is being taken away because people were moving away from religion. It was opening up a door for these people who were pure evil to suddenly be able to get their own way and to do what they want, and that's just, it's such an eerie, horrible feeling. The film does have a shocking revelation that it builds up to, and I'll be honest, I had chills on my spine when this reveal happened. I hated it in the best way, you know. I hated it. That ending really disturbed me, and nothing crazy even happens, you know, nothing mad and brutal and boo hiss. No, it was just the idea of humans doing things to each other, and just, I hate thinking of that ending. It's a really horrid moment where all of Rosemary's suspicions are confirmed. It's terrifying in its way, and I will never forget the effect that ending had on me. And I feel like if a film can do that from the late 60s, it must be good. You know, I'd be uncomfortable watching this again, and it was the beginning of that, uncomfortable, of just horror that was pushing the boundaries into areas that just hadn't been examined. It was going from the hammer horrors and the monster type horrors to the horrors of humanity, and that was the beginning. And the physical horrors, you know, people going through transformations in their body. The idea of the body was starting to become prevalent. The idea of losing control of yourself, either in your mind or just losing who you are physically. That's all here. The idea of losing control and not being able to put it back, and everything around you being against you and about to just impose all of this on you, and you can't do anything about it. That's one of my true most things I'm scared of in this world, and that's all here in Rosemary's Baby. What do you guys think of Rosemary's Baby? If you haven't seen it, it really is a classic horror. Check it out. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Please consider subscribing if you love analysis and retrospectives on cult and classic movies. I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.